Hello, good evening and welcome to a live stream with me having a bit of a sore throat. We'll see how we get on. But I did not want to cancel again like last week. Didn't we have more emojis? Well, we don't have a lot of custom ones. We have a few faces. Actually, let me have a look. But welcome everyone. Welcome Reckless Tris, Magic Geeks, Mr. Vedros, Mr. Twaddleford, Lemons, Valder, good morning, Kangi, NELL, and everyone else. Let's see. How do I find my custom emotes? We have subscriber emotes and follower emotes. We have two follower emotes, which are the Butt Award and the Duck. And we have my face and a bunch of guest faces. And also again the Butt, which is a bit useless, as a subscriber emote. Duckify the park. Well, we don't have a park yet. Although technically you could duckify this park, like the title screen parks, if you had access to the cheat option. Because it is actually a park being simulated. Just that you can't interact with it. Why are the two butt emotes? I don't know, they are the same. But it is, you know what it is, right? Well, there. That was a placeholder for an award during development, like in 1997, 1998. So blame Chris Sawyer, not me. You know where it comes from. Well, now some other people who did not know yet, there might be one or two here, also know. Thank you for the 4 months, Mini Danger. So let's get on with Grand Glacier. Another one of the expansion parks, RCT1 expansion parks that I have never played. It's speedrun, but never properly played. As far as I can remember. You know, I've done this in a speedrun, I've done it in like challenge videos. I've even completed this properly in RCT1 at some point for a challenge video. But never just built a normal park. So I would say I've never played it. Not properly anyway. Take some tea with honey for your throat. Yeah, I've drank milk, which does already help. I don't like tea particularly though, but hot milk with honey is something I used to do when I was a kid. If I had a sore throat. Anyway, let's duckify the park. It's not just a throat, I'm a little bit under the weather. Which is kind of a continuation of last week. So basically I got home from Milan on Saturday. Then I got sick. I woke up sick on Monday morning. And I was sick for like 3 days. Properly sick, like low energy, feeling sore, having a blocked nose, all that kind of stuff. Also sore throat. Maybe running a fever, I don't know. And then I kind of got better and felt almost entirely fine. Just a little bit like maybe an overproduction of slime in my throat or something like that. But I was mostly fine, and then yesterday it suddenly got a bit worse again. I'm not sick, I don't feel weak or anything. I mostly feel fine, it's just that my throat hurts a bit. This is the full park. So it's some green hills, some snowy hills, well, rocky and snowy hills, and then a massive glacier. Which is where the name comes from, Grand Glacier. What a surprise. Okay, I want Fairground Organ Style 2 for once. Now these ones we don't know. Crap, that's a lot of songs. Im Salzkammergut, Granada, Prinz Heinrich Marsch, El Capitan, Musinan March, Berliner Luft, Die Schönbrunner, Deutschlands Rühmmarsch, Frühlingsstimmen, One Day at a Time. Hey, that one I can at least pronounce properly. Under dem Doppelladler, Schlager Potpourri. Schlager Potpourri again? That seems like a mistake. Très Jolie Waltz. Unter Waffengefahrten. Sunflower. Unter der Friedenssonne. Colonel Bogey March. Yeah, I've never heard of any of those songs, but then again, I also don't know the names of these songs, I just know the way they go because RTT. Did you go to the Olympics? Yes. That's the reason I was in Milan. I mostly went to speed skating, but also saw one day of short track, which was nice. It was fun, because I'd never actually watched a proper short track competition on TV. Like maybe one event, but never like a full day. Only maybe one race, so... for the first time, seeing a short track competition in the stadium was very interesting. Speed skating, yeah, I've been to speed skating competitions before. I've seen everything on TV in the last 15 years at least. So that was, I mean, it was still special, but less special, of course. But it was incredibly exciting. The Colonel Bogey March is quite well known here in Britland. Well, maybe then you can tell us when it's coming on, because I have no idea what it sounds like. Does it tell us which song it's doing? No. How are you, Marcel? Been ages since I saw you. Well, right now, a bit of a sore throat, which you can probably hear a little bit. I don't think it's too bad. But overall, it's going fine. Yeah, it's the flu season. I mean, the one thing I'm thankful for is that I got sick after I got back from Milan, not in Milan. Did the Dutch squad do as well as you hoped? Well, I'm not particularly a fan of Dutch skaters. That doesn't mean I'm not a fan of them, it's just that I'm not very nationalistic in that sense. I have a lot of national pride, a little bit. But I don't favor them just because they're Dutch. I mean, a little bit still, but not very much. And there were other skaters I was rooting for more than some Dutch skaters. Like Norwegian Ragnar Wiklund, who unfortunately did not do as well as I hoped. But then we also got Italian Francesca Lollobrigida, who did amazing. Which I did not expect, even hope, because I don't think there was enough reason to hope, because there was no way she would ever do this well. And she did. And I'm very happy with that. The Dutch did pretty well. Well, did they? In just long track, right? Because short track, yes. You know, in total, we got the highest medal, like the highest medal ranking ever, third. And also the most medals ever for the Netherlands. But that's including short track, where we did exceedingly well. If you're just looking at long track and you're looking at how we performed in the World Cups early in the season, then we did... I mean, terrible, no, not really, but... We didn't do... I think a little bit underperformed, maybe. Especially for the women. So... But yeah, I'm very happy, you know. Every distance was interesting. Drink some water, good idea. Hello, Kaziyun, welcome. Ah, summer style. Perfectly accurate for and appropriate for this scenario. Let's actually do it ice style. I quite like blue and purple as a combination of colors when you're in an icy scenario. Oh, actually, this is the first guest on the junior. He was already stuck there. Well, guest 60, you are lucky that guest 63 is here to take the death. Ice style is so good it hits me right in the nostalgia. Really? I never really put that on as a kid. I mean, I'm sure I heard it. And definitely at some point I messed around with all the music styles just to see what they sounded like. And I definitely at some point put it on in an icy scenario. But it does not hit nostalgia for me, no. Kill number 62, no, they are lucky. Name it Hakuna Matata. It's a way of life, it's a philosophy. Can I pinpoint... I can pinpoint it directly to SeaWorld Brisbane in the Pro Tour 2 contest on New Element. When was that? Because if it's nostalgia, it must have surely been a long time ago. 2005, yes. That is a long time ago. Goodbye, guest 63. You are now a dead. Pick a coaster type for me to build. One vehicle per train mine train coaster. Can we do that? If that's only possible with cheat, then it's a no-go. But we'll see. We can do that. Lol. Well, that definitely means no steep chain lift. And that also means I need to build differently than how I usually build my coasters, since they lose speed quicker. It is quite funny, isn't it? Okay, so a normal coaster would easily make that hill. Will this one? I think it still will. Nope. That's an indication of how quickly it loses speed. Also, I don't want to advertise here, because that's a bit of a tired thing. I don't want to do that every time. But in order to still be able to build a big park, I am going to give myself the cash machine. Speaking of stalls, we might as well first off research more. And also build some stalls. Cheating, yes, oh I cheat all the time. I am Mr. Cheaterino. The RCT Classic upgrade of this scenario actually had the cash machine. No, I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily, because there's a thing to say that it's also good to learn how to work without a cash machine. But I already know that, I don't need to learn it anymore. Okay, will it make this all? Surely it will. This is only 18 meters, it's 12 below that. One of the nice things of having a light single car vehicle is that it's a natural braking agent. You barely need brakes because it brakes so quickly by itself. That does not go for the vertical drop coaster, those cars are heavy. Photo section, yes, good point. There we go. And there we go. Now, an interesting thing we can do is see how fast this thing goes at the end empty, and then compare that with when there's actually guests on. Because that should be quite a sizable difference. I'm quite surprised that the vertical drop coaster only attracts 95 guests as opposed to 105, considering how good it is. Yes, considering it's like very similar to the Twister coaster. Initially I thought it was 120, like the Twister and Giga. But it's not. And then a nice, gentle turn at the end. Okay, so at the end it goes 38. It enters the station at 38. Oh, the photo section that's in the way. Exit line, and there we go. I'll put some Roman style on this in honor of who said that they always did that. Marquee Alien. In honor of you, I put some Roman on this. I overused this to hell when I was a kid. You have a duck infestation. No, we just have some food ready for the hard times. Okay, we'll charge 10 for this. 450 for the photo. And of course a cash machine. Oh, there's only 2 guests that fit in these front trains. All the other cars have 4, but these only fit 2. Well, let's see how fast this one goes at the end. How big the difference is. So empty, they go 38 when they enter the station. Let's see how fast they go with just 2 added guests. That's already 43, that's 5 kilometers an hour faster. And the coaster isn't even that long. So that shows the impact of guest weight. What's the bare minimum speed needing to cause a crash? 50. And that's combined speed of the trains, of course. So if one's going backward, one's going forward, they can crash at only 25. Kilometers an hour, of course, so miles do the conversion. 31. Some pins. I always put these down to puke in, but guests don't use them to puke in, so I'm always doing something useless. But I keep having the hope that at some point they randomly will. That a stray particle from the sun, a cosmic particle, will flip a bit and suddenly they will puke in the bin. Like how that Mario glitch supposedly worked. The only thing dumber than ChatGPT is an RST2 guest. Hey, at least an RST2 guest does reproducible behavior. Ooh, maybe adding toilets is a good idea. You know, so people don't poop all over the place. What are the stats on this thing? Yeah, it's still got 6 excitement. That's still pretty good. Can't have a very high throughput though. So that's not particularly great. Why would they need a toilet? Well, I sell food and drink, so they might at some point need a bathroom. I don't know about how your body works, but mine works in the way that after I've had the food and drink, at some point I need to eject. And I would prefer to do that in a bathroom stall. Then again, maybe I'm just weird. Yeah, a bunch of clankers in the chat that don't need a restroom. Are you guys secretly ChatGPTing? Chris should have built in a cottaging mechanic in RCT. I have one vague memory of what cottaging means. I don't know if it's correct. I mean, it could have multiple meanings. I remember seeing it explained in some sort of YouTube video that explained British terms. And it had something to do with bathrooms and reproductive efforts. You know, we should of course do all the snow and ice, or snice. Entrance and exit styles. Or we go the other way. Oh. It's gay slang for lewd acts in a public lavatory. Ah yes, so reproductive efforts was correct. Except the word reproductive maybe if it's a gay thing. But the effort is still there. You're absolutely right. Guest in Rollercoaster Tycoon, they actually have very advanced AI. I am going to puke. Maybe that amount of M-dashes is the result of ChatGPT just feeding off itself eventually in like a decade. How was the Olympics? Very athletic, surprisingly. No, it was very cool. And of course just seeing Milan and stuff was also nice. But this was my first and probably not last Olympics. And I loved it. You know, lots of Dutch people around the stadium. Seeing all the skaters perform was great. My mom basically told me that in 4 years we're going again. So I guess I'm going to the Olympics again in 4 years. You know, in 4 years, speed skating will be... Well, the Olympics will be in the French Alps, which is not much further away than Milan. And speed skating might even be in Heerenveen, which is only a 25-minute train ride away from me. That's not yet decided, though. Let's do... We don't have a lot of money yet, so let's do a Virgin Reel. Why would speed skating be in the Netherlands? Because building a speed skating rink is expensive. That's why Milan built a temporary one. But the Netherlands, of course, already has a speed skating rink very capable of hosting the Olympics with Heerenveen. Yeah, about 10,000... people capacity and extremely good ice, that kind of stuff. They don't have any arenas in France. No, not even outdoor ones. Because Italy had 2 outdoor ones. They still built a new temporary one, but Italy at least had 2 outdoor rinks. France has none. They had Albertville for 1992, but that one was deleted after that again. Italy still has the 2 rings. Yes, Baselga, Di Pine and Colombo. So, you know, Insel, for example, was also an option for Italy, I think, at some point. The thing is, the temporary ice rink in Milan was such a raving success, because it turned out to be very fast ice, that now voices have been going up to just get the rink from Milan, install that in France, and ta-da! You have a rink. The Virgin Reel sucks because no ass bend. Well, all the tumbling around, the twisting around already bent your ass enough. At least one ice rink in Milan was a success, which wasn't. I've heard of troubles with dirty ice on a short track rink. Oh, is that what you're referring to? Or maybe the ice hockey rink had problems that I don't know about. Hockey and short track. What was wrong with the ice hockey rink? Oh yeah, disgusting Tate. I have no mechanics and no handyman. Hockey and short track had people falling all over the place. Yeah, I know about short track, especially that one race where the Canadian Sarro and the Dutch Xander Velzenboer randomly fell without any cause, seemingly. So yeah, I do know there are complaints about dirty ice. Name the park Belgium's better. Well, not in speed skating, mate. You didn't get a single medal. In short track, I don't... Yeah, you did get a medal in short track. On the mixed gender relay, at least. I'm not sure. I don't think Hannah de Smet got any other medals, did she? Belgium got one bronze all sports combined. Oh, so that's then that one short track mixed relay medal. And that one I actually saw happen live. I was there when Belgium got their one and only medal. A medal for the worst paved roads. Look, I've driven in Belgium and Italy and I don't know which are worse. But it's definitely not a clear victory for Belgium. Victory as in being the worst, the meaning of victory, but either way, Italy's got bad roads too. Is my point. Italy's got bad signage. I can only think of two countries that have good roads. Let me guess, the Netherlands and Switzerland. Okay, how about we do a little bit of flower beddage? Not Switzerland, which country then? Germany. Germany has perfectly fine roads. The one issue I have with German roads is that they are always under construction. Have you driven over the A15 in the Netherlands? Because even with a freshly paved roads, it's just as bumpy as the ring around Antwerp. I don't even know where the A15 is. Exactly. Hang on, isn't that part of the ring of Rotterdam? Along with the A16 and the A20? Is that it? Oh, we do have another space here. Whoops. Isometric view got me. Well, not really isometric, but I thought there was no more space here. But yeah, no, there totally is. Dordrecht, Rotterdam. Okay, so yeah, around there. And I don't think I've ever driven there, no. Well, maybe. I've driven to Rotterdam once. When my brother got his wedding suit fitted. So, maybe I've driven over the A15 then. A few years ago, of course. Like 2022 or something. Stops near Nijmegen. Right. Maybe I've done other sections of it. I don't know. But it's not a place I get to a lot. I don't go south of the rivers a lot. To be honest, I don't go south of Meppel a lot. That's between the rivers. You know, south of the rivers is south of the very first river. Which of course is the IJssel. How grand is this glacier? C'est grand. Très grand. It was much grander than global warming. Yeah, if this game was made today, this would be a lot smaller. And some more flowers. That's better. Grand Valley with a little bit of water still in it doesn't roll off the tongue well. But it is more accurate, and this game is all about realism. At least to me, I play this game for the hyper-realism. Add snowy jumping fountains. That's snowball, not fountains, but alright. This game got me through university physics. Which is funny, because university physics got me through this game. And of course, I'm joking, but I'm sure that at some point a little bit of university physics must have helped me understand something in this game a little bit better, right? Maybe just a better intuition of how coasters behave? I don't know. Programming, what I learned in university, definitely helped me a lot. That's not even a maybe, that's a definitely. Fountains are more important than benches, yes. People can stand. That's not that pretty, but whatever. Do we have a snowman ferry yet? No, we don't. We do now. From the back it looks just as good. We got more angles still. Okay, we've already had that angle. We've had that angle as well. Aw. He's fondling his balls. Yay! There he goes again. Okay, enough. What are we researching? General stuff. We recently got the corkscrew coaster. Before that, the hat stall and the side friction. Oh, I like a side friction. And the harpan. Who should not have a snow and ice themed? Pagoda, that's all better. We're not making a lot of money yet. Ooh, there go the ducks. Okay, people need to pee and people are sick. Well, we don't have a first aid room. And benches are not that effective. Time for more rides! He exclaimed. We can also absolutely charge more than $150 for this bastard. $5. Do you ever use the alternate movie of the motion sim? Not really, but why not? They do give more stats. Look at this. 2.9, 3.5, 3. 3.25, 4.1, 3.3. They're all higher. Do we have the info kiosk? Yes. Name a ride of your choice. Alright, Micanthrope. Which ride, which name? Lol, here they're still flying. The Great Duck Migration. But isn't it amazing that Chris Sawyer actually built something, you know, the fact that the ducks actually migrate during winter. Name the motion sim the Polar Express 3D. Alright. I've seen that movie, I believe, when I was a kid, but I don't really remember it. Okay, how about a splash boat? A BOAT. Yeah, that stands for buoyancy attribute. Did you not know that that's where the word comes from? It was invented by Edward Furlong. In what was it? I think 1944, something like that. Before that, we only had ships. We did not have boats. I mean, originally boat, but the kind of people started pronouncing it as boat, which is a bit easier to say, of course. But it was patented as boat in 1944. It's just ChatGPT. I don't think ChatGPT could even come up with something that nonsensical. Or maybe I've just not been abusing it enough. Hey, Jake Brickmeister, welcome. A good 493 on a 5-stream streak. I think the Boat thing comes from Phineas and Ferb. Yes, it does. It's a Heinz Doofenshmirtz thing. He invents a thing and then I believe it goes like he invents a thing, calls it like a thing with like 4 words, and then the acronym is boat, and then he's like, right, boat. Whoops. That already exists. The buoyancy attribute I did come up with on the spot though. That's an original Marcel joke. Although perhaps buoyancy from the B might still be the same word as Doofenshmirtz has. You are absolutely right, Marcel. This indeed does not sound like something ChatGPT would come up with. What you said does sound like something ChatGPT would come up with. I really liked the pilot of Phineas and Ferb. I really like Phineas and Ferb in general. It's a great TV show. Yes, indeed, Brooms. I do quite like Dan Bovenmeyer's YouTube account. His shorts are quite good, especially when they're related to Phineas and Ferb content, because that's just interesting. You know, maybe sometimes he goes a little bit behind the scenes or something like that. He also does content that has nothing to do with Phineas and Ferb, which not necessarily that much my thing, but you know, on occasion can be good. Let's watch Chin Chan. I have watched Chin Chan when I was a kid, a little bit. I mean, it not religiously or anything. It was just one of those cartoons that was on either Jetix or Nickelodeon. So naturally, you watched it every now and then. Oh, that does not go for every show. Because, for example, I did not watch Winx Club because that was a girls' show. Now I know better, but back in the day I was like, ooh, fairies, girls, no, that's a girls' show. Which is weird, because I did watch Totally Spies, which was also 3 girls in the main leads, but that was at least spy stuff, you know, which is cool, which is boy stuff, so I could watch it. Totally Spies was trying to kickstart puberty in preteen boys, and I will die on this hill. I mean, they probably succeeded. Sam's got it going on. Actually, a fair number of 90s Nickelodeon shows were that. Yeah, probably. Totally Spies, isn't that more of a 2000s thing? Hang on, when did it get released? Totally Spies. Yeah, 2001 to 2008. Yes. The 19s and zeros are the same thing in my brain. I turned 10 in 2001. Okay, so you're 5 years older than me. Basically, my childhood is roughly 2000 to 2015. Because I was 3 years and a month, roughly, when the millennium changed. So anything before that doesn't count. And 2015 is when I turned 18. I wonder if there was like a syndication delay from American shows coming to Europe. Yes, Totally Spies, America first in 2001. And then September 2002 on the Fox Kids in the Netherlands. But still not 90s, at least not that show. I did read, at some point I came across like an article or a whatever, I don't remember. Maybe a YouTube video, an article, something. Saying that Totally Spies had a lot of fetish stuff. Like, there was one episode, I think it was Clover, who got, like, inflated after eating too many, like, weird cookies or something like that. And it was basically argued that that was an inflation fetish content, basically. Which I'm not sure if I agree with it specifically being that, but I could see at least their point. When's your birthday? December 10th. I was born exactly 1 day before a good friend of mine. Which means that he is clearly the youngest of the friend group. And I am clearly not the youngest, not even close. Nothing beats Telekids and the Drum Show when growing up. Was that before my time? Because I know the words, but I don't really know what they are. For me it was mostly just Fox Kids, later Jetix, and alongside that of course Nickelodeon. You're late November 96. Ha! You're older than me, which means I'm a youngin'. At some point, you know, when I reached early puberty, so like 12, 13 years old, I started watching a bit more shows for older kids. And then it was basically Nickelodeon after 8 PM that became very popular with me and a few friends and classmates and whatever. Which was when they did shows like Drake and Josh, iCarly, Victorious, Big Time Rush. Which are not cartoons, they're live action sitcoms. But they're aimed at teenagers, so obviously I was watching them as a teenager. And I watched a lot of those shows. RCT did kind of skip a generation. Yeah, because obviously it was very popular when it came out in the early ooze. Then it kind of stopped being as popular, at least in my experience. I mean, I stopped playing it as much as well, but it's gotten really popular again in the last, well, 10 years or so. Well, OpenRCT2 played a large part in that, of course, but also RCT Classic and my YouTube channel, other YouTube channels, and a kind of a general thing with that retro games are being popular, not just Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. It got obnoxiously hard to play on modern systems in the era between Windows XP and Open. Which, funnily enough, I have never had issues with. RCT2 has always played fine on any computer I've tried to run it on. And even though I did not play it very much in those, you know, between like 2006 and 2015, I did play it like every now and then, somewhat consistently. I do remember in 2012 I played it quite a lot again, for example. 2012, what would I have had? Windows 7 maybe? You know, if I had needed some kind of hack or program or whatever to run it, I probably would have folded it as well, but I got lucky. There must definitely be some old games that are just unplayable because they don't run on modern systems. I mean, one example is Zoo Tycoon, which actually does run fine, but it's not played a lot anymore because there's nowhere to get it. Like, I have it because I pirated it like a decade ago and just kept copying the files to my new computer every time I got a new computer, but you can't get Zoo Tycoon anywhere. So even though it runs fine, at least in my experience, on modern systems, it's still hard to play. Which is such a shame. I mean, Microsoft owns it, so it's not like the company is gone. Or well, maybe by Bluefang, but I believe Microsoft owns Bluefang or something. I remember Microsoft being in the opening credits at least. I have ISO torrents of some of these old games, like an early EA Harry Potter game, Hot Wheels games, authentic RST1 and 2. Yeah, but I mean RST1 and 2 are less necessary, and unless I guess you want to play just RST1 without LL or AA. Of course, otherwise you can just get it on Steam. I only played one Harry Potter game on the computer. And that was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I miss how in the original version the icons on the top of the screen took up the whole screen. Now with extra resolution there's a big gap in between. Yeah, that's true. I've gotten used to it though. I've played so much more OpenRST2 than I have played vanilla. Not in terms of time span of my life. Vanilla is still about 14 years, OpenRST2 about 10, but I've played so much more of course recently. So in terms of time, the boating is 3 minutes 33 seconds and it got 8 excitements, which is ridiculous. How many Mexican states can you name? Oh! Yucatan's not a state, right? That's a peninsula only. Or is it maybe also a state? Okay, I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to name a bunch of cities I know and hope that they're also states. So, Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey. I mean, Tijuana is definitely not a state, right? The other 3 are massive cities, so I could see them being states also. The state of Mexican City. I mean, Australia has the Australian Capital Territory. So it's a federal district. Well, it's not a state, but it's a region. You know, it was not. Basically, my argument, that was not a ridiculous thing to say. Cancun, that's a small like beach city. I mean, small compared to like Mexico City beach city, right? I don't know how big Cancun actually is. You got Yucatan right. Oh, so that is actually a region, like a state. I thought it was just a name for the peninsula, but yeah, I wasn't sure. It's kind of funny. I can name all US states, but I can't name with certainty any Mexican state. Baja California. Oh, that would make sense of that being a state. Chihuahua you've surely heard of. Oh, right, yeah. You know, a bunch of these I'm like, oh yeah, I knew Chihuahua came from Mexico, like the dog, or at least was named after it. I knew it was a Mexican thing somewhere. Tabasco is easy to remember if you know the sauce. Is Tabasco sauce actually from Tabasco, or is that not from there but named after it for some other reason? 3D cinema. Don't we already have a 3D cinema? No we don't. Building flat rights is good to increase the soft guest cap, which we need. Because we do have a goal, which is 1,400 guests in 3 years, I think. 1,500. And while we are doing reasonably well, we're not that far ahead of schedule. So we do need rides. Name it something with 2. I can just name it 2D Cinema 1. Okay, Tabasco is just named after it. The blue tits. Oh, I do love some blue tits. Actually, we can also do a different film here, because why not? I don't like how virtually all of the ooh and ah scenarios are harder than the base game. Yeah, they're really kind of an expansion, a continuation, which does make sense. Because it's not like it's a different game like RST2 is. It's literally an expansion. You can't play ooh or A without also owning Rukt 1. Ooh, we got a top spin. Bewerk mode? Don't you mean berserk mode? Bewerk mode is kind of just a complete Dutch sentence. Which kind of means alter fashion. It's like a command. Alter fashion. It's now... Yeah? Is this a Colonel Bogey March? Or Colonel Bogey March? It is. Well, I don't recognize it. Okay, we got a bunch of flat rides now, which are attracting some more guests, so we're doing well in that regard. Basically, at a constant rate, schedule is 750 guests at the start of July year 2, because that's halfway to go on time. Well, we're on 790 and it's only the end of April year 2, so we're doing well. We're about 2.5 months ahead of schedule. It's even got its own folk lyrics from Wee Wee 2. Hitler only has got one ball, the other is in the Albert Hall. Nice. Ooh, a coaster type. Well, this is what we have available. Catch machine helps a lot to not lose guests. Yes. It does. Nicey, watery, woody. Well, there's lots of space for it. Although, I don't want it to just sprawl here, because that's using up a lot of valuable real estate. So I'm going to build it half on a mountain. Woody made entirely of water splashes. That should be possible if you cheat a little. It's not going to be a good ride. I can tell you that. Also, welcome Max. How you doing? You had to work on some Dirklink entry 2 days ago, right? On Monday. How did that go? Today still, it's not going well. Oh, that's unfortunate. No inspiration? Or do you want to do something? I saw you ask about track length stuff. I assume that has something to do with it. Technical trouble. Alright, that's unfortunate. I like that from this angle you really can't see that it's going up a lot. Well, not a lot, but steeply at least for a bit. You can see it a little bit because things are getting closer together. They look a bit weird, but it's hard to see. It's kind of fascinating that water splashes even made it into the game, considering how obscure they were in real life. It's not the only thing that's obscure in real life that made it into the game. Think of the reverse coaster, which is so obscure that the only thing I've ever seen proving its existence is one image. This banking at the top is so unnecessary. No, it should have decent speed there. Let's see. I mean, it's going 6-7 kilometers an hour there, and here still 4 or 5. It's not nothing. But it is unnecessary when you compare it to the earlier unbanked turns. Yes, because you cannot bank slope. You cannot slope banked. You cannot bank sloped turns. Kind of weird when you think about it. There are a lot of weird and rare coaster types in the game, but not some basic thrill rides. It's almost like the game is called a Roller Coaster Tycoon. Chris Sawyer definitely had to focus on the roller coasters when making this game. By the way, I just randomly got reminded of... can I still see that? No, because I denied their message request. But on Discord I got someone who basically said, hey, I want to edit for you your thumbnails. But it was clearly either automated or even entirely AI generated. Let me see if I post a picture of it somewhere. Let me see if I can find that. I should be able to. Yes. So I got this message a week ago. Randomly, they had joined my Discord server. Randomly, hey Marcel, great numbers, doing it all yourself. I can cover editing or thumbnails. This is my work. And then presumably these are some of their work, which is not my style, but first off, this M dash is of course extremely ChatGPT. It's not 100% proof, but you know. Also, says nothing about my content in the slightest. Just great numbers doing it all yourself. Like, that just reeks, if not AI, at least an automated standard message that goes to everyone. I get a lot of emails like that as well. From random, either people that want me to join their multi-channel network and take some of my profit, or they want me to advertise some shitty product. Which... And then they always say, you know, just my YouTube name and never anything about my content in particular. Just always like a spam automated message. And then 2 days later, hey, maybe you were busy and missed it. Sending just in case. Which, by the way, I ignored this entirely. I didn't even accept it. And then on that day, which was 21st, so again 2 days later, I got still doing it all alone, or found help already. Content's flowing, but you're quiet. I did not post anything in between this first message and this message. Content was not flowing. So... it's weird. The reverse image so you can see where you end up. Okay, I'm just going to take a screenshot of this then. And put it through Google image search. Let's see what I get. Okay, what do we get? Exact matches? No exact matches. Yeah, I don't think they randomly posted this on the internet. Just general similar looking stuff. This is not useful. But yeah, I get a lot of... not on Discord necessarily a lot. That's not that bad, but emails a lot. And sometimes I get legitimate emails. Like, there's been a few YouTube videos that I'm credited in because people ask me for help on an email. Like one from a YouTube channel called Professor Viral, who talked about Roller Coaster Tycoon, emailed me asking some questions. There was some dude who wrote some article about RCT Classic and wanted to know what I found on the cover of RCT Classic, like the box art. Which is not a question I really ever expected, but I don't really have that many thoughts about it. But I did give him some interesting info. For example, I told him where exactly the screenshot for the cover of RCT Classic was taken, which is somewhere in Tycoon Park. Which is not really something I knew, but it wasn't until I started analyzing it more closely to answer that email that I was like, I think I recognize that. I think that's Tycoon Park. Careful with the intensity. Yeah, we're fine. If you don't do loops, you have a lot more room to play with. Okay. Well, for a water splash, I kind of want to be closer to the ground. Actually, I just want to be in the ground. Oh, one more. Yeah, that looks nice. Now we'll make a little bit of water around it. Like so. And we can do another splotter wash. Imagine if ducks could chill on the water splash sections. Well, then we would have roast duck for dinner every night. photo section. And now we can do another water splash. Ta-da! Alright, let's test it. It's got a big chain lift. It goes from 9 meters all the way to... What does it go all the way to? Let's see. From 9 all the way to 60. That's a 51 meter chain lift. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. It starts with an L and it ends with... Well, no, it starts with an E and it ends with excessive lateral G-forces. I think the rest of the coaster is fine, but that first turn after the big drop is not. Duck or goose? Definitely duck, way sexier. The intensity rating is not that high. We only have 1 lateral G penalty, so... But yeah, it's this turn. Which is not good for the hearts of my people. And we can cheese this. Because what we can do is we can do it like this, and then like that. And then like that. And then a break. Well, we'll put it on 101. That should do it. I don't like trim brakes like that, but sometimes they're necessary. Yeah, they look fine now. That does not look fine. Kaboom. Okay, good enough. I'm not sure if he'll make this bit, but only one way to find out. So much work to avoid raising the bottom of the drop to pieces. Yeah, but I want my top speed. Okay, it does easily make this. Now that bank is really unnecessary now. It easily does not make that. But hey, it didn't crash. This coaster is a bit... It is a whole bunch of jank right now. Just put a chain lift on the top of that hill so it makes that hill. The problem is, you know, if I just had raised the bottom, like Valder suggested, then all the energy would have stayed in the coaster. But now I've taken energy out of it because I introduced the brake. Then Then you get other problems later on that you otherwise would not have gotten. This stream is designed to torture me specifically. Oh, hang on. Hang on, hang on. Ah, there we go. Much better. Hey, Meister Schmidty, thank you for the 24 months. At least that's a solution I agree with in this instance. What? I purposefully made a turn too large and then introduced an ass bend. How do you agree with that? I don't understand. This is taking too long. The train was going too fast through that tiny turn. But there's another tiny turn immediately after the S-blend. Okay, stats should be good now. Yeah, they are. 9.7 intensity and 7.3 excitement. That does not connect. Such efficient pathing. Hey, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Okay, now to make it icy colored. Oh, that's quite nice actually. I must say. Now watch Valder disagree. Color scheme is great. Oh, thank you. Ice cubes around the water splashes. Isn't that the third time you've said that? I did see it, but I did not want to do it. Although I do like the idea of some ice... We don't have ice cubes. So that's gonna be a no anyway. A childhood story. What about Seiji Leaf? I like these orange walls. I mean, I could color them, of course, but I like them orange. It looks good. How about if we just put them here? A summer holiday when you were a teenager. Ooh, how about the time we went to Tenerife? So my dad passed away in December 2010. And then the following summer, you know, we used to always go with the caravan, even the summer of 2010 still. We went to the caravan to France, to Belgium, that kind of stuff. But my mom didn't really want to do that with just the two of us. So in the summer of 2011, we went with the three of us, my mom, my brother and I. to Tenerife, and we did something we'd never done before, which was we got just an apartment with also breakfast every day, dinner every day, although we did go out to dinner as well. Quite luxury, with a swimming pool, because we'd never been in an apartment for holiday except for winter sports. And we went to Tenerife, which is very different than what we usually do in like France somewhere. Okay, let's water the plants. At the time I was 14, by the way. Flash was too expensive. Yes, thank you for noticing. And yeah, it was a very interesting holiday. We had to buy water, because you could not drink the water there from the tap, which was weird. At some point we got a lot of, no, not a lot, 4 big cockroaches, which we had to get the cockroach spray from the people at the hotel. Which is a thing they had, because sometimes you get cockroaches. There were no mosquitoes. There were also very few beaches, sandy beaches at least. Which is not what goes with my understanding of a tropical island. We did go up the volcano, the Teide, not entirely, but you know, partially. On a guided tour, which was very nice. Is there anything else too expensive? Doesn't look like it. Oh wow, we got so much money. And at some point during Brits, well, speaking of Brits, I was gonna talk about some Brits, because there were 2 girls there who were, I think, 15, 16, and my brother and I was 14, 15. So, you know, we were all about 15 years old, maybe 1 year older or younger. And they were staying in the same hotel. And at some point we were all swimming. And my brother struck up a conversation with one of them, in English of course. And I was chilling, you know, a few meters away in the pool, listening along. And at some point I commented on the thing they said. I just bumped in with my own remark. And the girl was incredibly surprised with like, oh my god, you speak English too. At which point I was like, well, yeah, obviously. Because for me that was normal. The fact that I spoke English when I was 14. I mean, not brilliantly of course, but good enough to have a basic conversation at least. And yeah, for people in my social circle, which was mostly in high school VWO, which is the highest high school education level we have here, that is normal. But apparently she was surprised by that, so for foreigners to speak English at that age is not normal in every country, clearly, which is obvious. And then at some point, which was a bit odd, now that I think of it, like that's not something that's typical of my brother at all. But at some point, my brother arranged somehow, I don't know who proposed it, but got a date with one of the girls, just a night out. They arranged a time where she would be there or something like that. Which my brother was never and still is not the suave type like that. The smooth type like that, you know. He's got a wife now, but he is not the one to, you know, randomly get dates with, at least not as far as I know. Unfortunately, he got stood up, she never came. Which he was quite gutted by, naturally. And I don't think we ever saw them again. That was a weird holiday, all in all. He's the Josh, Marcel is the Drake. Hang on, Drake is the smooth ladies one, right? I said my brother is not generally the smooth ladies one, but he's a lot smoother than I am still, so don't get it wrong. Also in body type, I am the Josh, he is the Drake. Then again, Drake is stupid in terms of like intelligence and stuff. My brother is not. So it's not an apt comparison in any way, because while I could reasonably be the Josh, not even close to 1-to-1 comparison, but I could see myself being the Josh, none of us could be the Drake. And yeah, Josh would indeed be the one who's playing RCT. True. And Drake would be doing whatever cool kids do. Which I never did. Which is fine. I did not have a desire to be a cool kid. Would it be a Mobius slide though? No, it will not. Oh, I had to drink some water 5 minutes ago. Well, let's do that. Nice. We will never believe you aren't suave. Well, I am not. Although, I'm not, you know, I do have some kind of skill in connections. I guess. Because in whichever thing I do tend to work myself up to the top. And up to, like, being reasonably well connected in that field. There's nothing to do with romantic stuff, of course, but you know, Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's pretty clear. But also in speed skating, you know, I have connections with various skaters, various people working at the Dutch Broadcasting, that kind of stuff. Which is not that hard to get, but you know, it's still something you need to get. But also, earlier things I did, I would, in various online communities, work myself up to moderator position, stuff like that. So I have something like that, I guess. Which is kind of unlike being autistic. Although what is like being autistic is so obsessed with being so obsessed with something that you do so much for it that people start to notice you. Did you enjoy the speed skating at the Olympics? Yes. The best was the women's 1000 meters. I cheered so hard for Femke Kok's race that I actually lost my voice a bit for the day after. Now, if you go fast enough through this section with the on and off tunnels, it can become a strobe light with the sun shining in your eyes and you can get an epilepsy attack. Which is exactly the purpose I built this ride for. Because if you didn't know, OpenRCT2 recently added epilepsy attacks, which your guests can get if you build a dinghy slide precisely like this. Sounds legit. It is, yes. Also looks like a decapitation hazard. I approve. Good. Because that was the secondary goal. I am now convinced this is true and shall spread this information wherever I go. I mean, why wouldn't you be convinced it's true? I am the voice of truth about Roller Coaster Tycoon 2. So spread my gospel, my children. I am the voice of truth, Marcel, professional liar. It's true, I am a professional Irish instrument. I have started to get a bit more into different bits of code in OpenRCT2. Which means that as I get better at that, you know, fixing various bugs and the like, I should also be able to do more with custom versions. For example, yesterday I fixed a bug that means that this free food or drink campaign no longer shows up if all your stalls are closed. You know, if we close all of these, you see it no longer shows up. And then when we open them, it does show up again. And that's of course mostly a user interface thing. So I kind of got a bit into the UI code, trying to make this happen, which was not too difficult, but you got to understand the code a bit. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to advertise. Well, whatever. And the more I get into the code, the better I understand it, the better I can make crazy custom versions if I have a fun idea. Like how the ride campaigns won't show up if there's nothing built. Well, actually they did show up if all your rides were closed. Which I also fixed. But if all your rides were closed, at least this would be empty. While you could still advertise for free chips even if all your chip stalls were closed. So I kind of changed three things. I changed it so that the ride campaigns would not show up if all your rides were closed. I changed it so that the food ad does not show up if all your food and drink stalls are closed. And I changed it that you cannot advertise for closed food and drink stalls. Just to confirm, track length for a roller coaster has no impact on the ride's excitement rating. Well, I will not confirm that because it's wrong. It does, up to 6,000 meters, I believe. Hey, 420. Yeah, but no, the longer, up to 6,000 meters, the more exciting. And you can find that in the RTD. It stands for ride something data, maybe, I don't know. You get bonus length, 6,000, that's the maximum. And then you get an excitement multiplier of 764 and an intensity and nausea multiplier of 0. This is for the looping coaster, so others may have a different multiplier, but the maximum is the same. You see the same, for example, with duration, so 150, that's 150 seconds. I think 2.5 minutes. I need to get more into this at some point. I'm gonna make a whole spreadsheet with all the boni that you can kind of calculate how much you get per different thing for different rides and all that kind of stuff. Was it like that in the original game, that it did not show up if all stalls were closed, or is that an improvement in open? I don't know. Let's see. Hang on. I can't find the program in my start menu, but I can find it here. It'll look a bit small for you, I know. But, let's see, I want an empty park. That'll do. Okay, yeah, they're just all there. They're just all there. You can't do anything though, and let's see. Now this is closed. Yeah, I can advertise it. And the rides. Yeah, rides also show up. So that rides don't show up if they're closed is something that OpenRCT2 already changed. At some point in the past 10 years. And the other three things is something that I changed yesterday. Right track data, yeah, that's definitely it, the RTD. In RCT1 there was a wooden coaster blueprint with a glitch in one of the corners. A bank tweaks into a flat corner. Yeah, that's what I call the unbanking turn. Because it's a turn and it unbanks the track. That's not an official track name. I don't think it has an official track name. But that's what I call it. And yeah, no, it indeed does not cause crashes. It's basically... let's see. If I'm banked... Oh, I don't think this ride has it. Was the Classic Woody? Does the Classic Woody have it? No. Do any of these have it? Classic Wooden Twister does. Okay, screw it. We're just going to Test Park. There we go. This is the RCT2 Woody. So basically, you bank your track, and then you do that. And I'm pretty sure you can do it the other way as well. Or like going... Can't you go into a bank? Yes, like so. And it exists on a few different coaster types. I think OpenRCT2 added it to more coaster types. Although I wouldn't know exactly which. It's a very obscure track piece. I literally made a video about it years ago called The Forgotten Track Piece. The Steel Twister introduced it in Corkscrew Follies and also got it in Mountains in it to RC, maintains it into RCT2. I don't think Vertical Drop had it originally, but RCT2 added it. I don't know. You probably know more about it than I do. I know a lot about vanilla RCT2, I don't know a lot about RCT1. Especially not like when stuff got introduced and such. Well, now we got the classic wooden twister coaster, which can do it. That one, actually. Do I still have my old design? No, I made like a very old design with this, like 2016. Which was ugly anyway. Big red, white Livestream invert. Why not? Well, I built this live at some point. I don't remember it. Alright, see you there. That's an easy way to get more guests. Just drop down a massive roller coaster. And the fact that it's big doesn't help, but it's still 80 something more guests. Dang, this thing got a lot of inversions. And it barely makes it. Surely it's not gonna make that next one. Well, I was wrong. It goes to 1 kilometers per hour, but it does make it. I think we should wait for full... Oh, it's already set to wait for full load. I mean, it was originally tested with different trains, which may be heavier, I don't know. It was tested with the RCT2 trains, and we got RCT1 trains here. Well, full load is unnecessary. We'll wait for half load. But it was already set to wait for full load, so... I definitely, at the time when I saved this, for whatever reason, knew of its issues. So got 9.5 intensity, 7.2 excitement, 7.7 nausea. Looks pretty good for 8 inversions. Still only 9.5 intensity. I really went calm with all the other stats. I'm kind of proud of this design. I don't remember it, but with 8 inversions, these stats is pretty good. Yeah, the RCT2 is probably heavier since it is for cross. Now it was like a piece preparing for a banked corner and then there was a flat corner. I mean, you can do that. The game is kind of glitched like that. You shouldn't be able to save the design with it, but you can totally actually do that. Hang on. There we go. It will connect. It will allow you to... Oh, it will not allow you to test the ride. Maybe it did allow you to test the ride in the original game. Maybe on something like launched ride we'll be able to test this. You know, it will connect it if it's correct. And if you put it in launch mode, you can actually test it. And it will crash. You can't save this because it crashes. So you don't get stats, but you can do this. Name it the Puke. I'm gonna name it the Pukinator. Okay, we're doing well enough with the amount of guests. Let's see how it does with a full load. Geography trivia, alrighty. Let's see what you got. Okay, so it went 1 kilometer an hour in this inversion. Now it still goes 14 at the minimum. That's a big difference. What's the largest tundra in the world that doesn't have a pole in it? Well, I don't think there will be a lot of poles in the Siberian tundra. Maybe still 1 or 2 ethnic poles, so... the thing is, I don't know where Polish people live. So I can't know for sure. Okay, so I was making a joke about Polish people and apparently I got it correct. That's not how this show is supposed to work. But okay. I'll take that. I mean, the North Pole is not a tundra, because it's just ice, there's no land. And Antarctica, is that a tundra? I thought it was something colder than a tundra. Barer. Doesn't tundra have occasional, like, vegetation and stuff? Just like mosses or whatever. Only seeing that this is in fact possible gives some peace of mind. Maybe I screwed around with the blueprint and screwed it up myself. Thank you on behalf of 9-year-old Taya. Yeah, in all likelihood you did something like that connection I just did and your memory is wrong. Because memories be like that. Wait, tundra needs trees, tundra lacks trees. Which is the truth? Yeah, taiga is the tree one. Damn, this new ride be immediately popular. Is it the most exciting? No. There's 2 more. Can the mechanics still keep up? Surprisingly, at this time, yes, but I'm gonna get a few more, just in case. You know, it might not be a regular workload, maybe it's a bit irregular. This was a calm day. Damn, my voice is not keeping up particularly well. Let's finish this up then. Need 200 more guests. Yeah. This is for my tide friction overview video, I think. Alright. We're getting there, we're getting there. That's a lot of go-karts. What am I doing with the design this big? I have no space. I think we have one of all the thrill rides, right? One of all the non-tracked gentle rides. Okay, we don't have a lot of them yet. But that's easily solved. Ta-da! Should not forget the benches and the bins, of course. Ooh, we got our river rapids. I got a few nice pre-built designs for that as well. For my river rapids overview video. I like this one. It looks good. And it is good, it is efficient. I really like the way compact river rapids look. They look just... because the track is so big, they look really compact. It's the same with certain wooden coaster designs. If you have a wooden coaster design that looks really compact, and you convert it to like a looping coaster, it suddenly looks a lot less compact because the looping coaster track is a lot smaller, a lot narrower, so it doesn't fill out the space as much. Okay, this should be enough to get to 1500 guests, right? I'll get some more stalls in the back here. Well, with those info kiosks and all these other stalls, we're at like another 100 extra. That's definitely enough. Why do we only get the coffee stalls, drink stall? Because 4 food options and only 1 drink option. Although they drink tentacles too, but it solves hunger, not thirst. It amuses me that you're able to rotate info kiosks. It does actually have different looking sides. Can you see that in the Ghost as well? Yeah, you definitely can. The pixels, even in a black and white image, do change. Why are you leaving? You're out of money. You stupid pig. Why didn't you go to a goddamn cash machine? A merry-go-round kiosk. A merry-go kiosk. No, a kiosk could go around. Less than 200 people have left though. That's pretty good. Have we got any vandalisms? No, not a single one. I did not expect that though, I expected at least one. Poor guests that are at the top of that broken enterprise, which is now fixed. They're complaining about queue lengths. Time to recruit some furries or frosties. I believe that does not remove the complaint, which is a stupid message. I mean, they won't be bothered with their happiness if you do that, but it will not remove the complaint. I think, I'm not entirely sure. Time for ducks, time for ducks, time for ducky ducks. Hey, we have over 1500 guests. Then it is time to start fast forwarding. More ducks. And more ducks. And eventually, more ducks. They can make it quite far out of the park. I mean, there's no limit. Will they make it past this little thing? Yes. Yes, they will. Absolutely docking brilliant, mate. Can I swim off the edge of the map? No, that's just an edge. As if it were a land edge or whatever. It's all the same. What does the duck say? Wah, 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 wah. And in a month they will all leave again. In the meantime, might as well spawn some more. If we don't already have the maximum. Oh, we do have the maximum. Well, close to it anyway. And there they go! That's not good for the streaming quality. Damn, we're rich. What did I do here? Oh, I spammed that big coaster. Well, spammed, built it. Can you buy any land? No. Well, we got lots of land available on the side, but not necessary. Do you use it all? And that's gonna be Grand Glacier. I'm going to end the stream a bit early. I hurried up a bit because my voice is not doing well. You can probably hear it. I mean, I can hear it. Did the Pukinator pay for itself? No, not even close. Only 6,000 profit. This ride though, 38,000 profit. That paid for itself. So yeah, thank you for watching, and let's see who we can raid. Someone called Celestia, who isn't started yet. No one else is doing RCT too. Well, you know what, then there will be no raid for once. I thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again on Sunday with hopefully a better voice. And I bid thee a good night. Bye bye.